Hey, I want to touch on something here just real quick if I could. I hear a lot of people asking a question about moving their music around in music licensing. I guess in the case of point, a lot of guys having music with one library and trying to decide what part of their music should be exclusive and what should be non-exclusive. Now, I think the easiest way to approach this, and what I've learned after doing this about 10 years is simply this. Whether you write exclusive or non-exclusive is totally up to you. I think the biggest and probably the biggest point I could make and the easiest way of going about doing this is simply this. Find out what publishers that you're with. Find out what music they're placing the most of. What they're gonna. A lot of these publishers, and there's so many of them out there. I'm telling you, there's gobs of them. I ain't even scratched the surface on this, and I've been doing this 10 years. Every one of them have their own niche of the music that they play. Some, place all trailer music. Some do minimal tension and underscore, minimal emotional. Some do EDM, hip hop. Some do rock. Some do just singer songwriter in various genres. Whatever they may be. Find publishers that do this stuff, and what I would do is just write specifically for that publisher for the music that they place the most of. Notice, if you do these genres and you can supply them that music, you're that much more valuable to these guys. Just write that music and write as much of it as you can to these guys. Now, I'll say it again, I've said this before, what I've been told is it's like investing money. The music business is a long-term business. You cannot expect instant gratification out of this. In other words, you may put some tracks with a publisher and a client of theirs may pick that track up in a few days or the day you get it in the library and use it. Or it may be 5 to 6 years. I've had tracks in libraries 6-7 years and finally got placed. Some that were 6 or 7 days. And as you know, in most cases, you're not even going to know until like 9 months to 12 months later until you get your royalty statement that this is even placed, unless they call you and say, hey, we have this for a big opportunity. It's a big major brand commercial, or we have a film or a big sitcom, and your publisher works out an upfront sync fee and works out that placement for you. And those are big placements. But really the only time you're going to know it, unless you have a publisher that gets the inside on when it's placed and cue sheets. And a lot of times they talk about this new technology of blockchain that's going to probably change a lot of this, where we'll know probably in real time and beginning as we go along, paid in real time. But blockchain is still in research stages. It's a good while for that even thinks of becoming a norm, but it's not impossible. I mean, blockchain technology is something that probably will surface in time. It's debatable. A lot of people are wondering if what they talk about as blockchain technology is even going to come out. But I've heard a lot, like at these conferences and stuff, I've heard a lot of talk that it's pretty huge technology that's more than likely in some form or fashion will come out. But that's beside the point. My biggest point I just wanted to make is, when you're writing music for libraries, find out what music they write for, because if they don't place any music that you do, the library is not a fit for you to begin with. Even if it's a library that's open format and just lets you upload what you want. In other words, I guess the best example is like stock music libraries. You can upload what you want, but even stock music libraries, there's so many of them out there that if they're not licensing or placing what you do, it's the whole point of it is you've got to research these libraries. I talk about that in the 5-part video that I did, is learning this business and talking about that. Just talk about it. But whatever you do, just learn what your publishers are doing. That will take all the burden in your mind off of the table as to wondering, should I keep it exclusive with this library or non-exclusive? Listen, I write for a non-exclusive library that I put with one stock library, which I believe is Pond 5. I'm not signed up any of that licensing thing that they do or publishing. I have my own on that deal, but I just put it on there, set it, and forget it. Like I said the last time, I didn't really want to take that music with that non-exclusive library and put it with a bunch of others because I wanted to know where everything was at. It'd be a lot easier if I did take that non-exclusive and I wanted to make it exclusive to another library. And at this point, I would probably only do it if it was requested. Not really concerned about just arbitrarily taking it and putting it with another library. I write for that library. It's not exclusive only for the reason they place corporate and in indie pop corporate type music, and I've got a few tracks with them, not a lot, but a few. Most of what I write with are exclusive libraries. I write to them, set it, forget it, and I think to date I've got about 1,200 cues out there published between the several libraries that I do, and still plugging away at more. But like I said, it's a long-term business, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Just learn the business and don't worry about that so much. It's like investing your retirement. Set it and forget it. Don't worry about whether you should move it in or move it out. This is the same thing. When I learned this business years ago, I was told this is like a musician's 401k. The more music you put into it, the more your music is going to work for you. You've got to be working and putting music into it. And as I said before, you got to love it to do it. But anyway, hope that helps. Be cool.